Va bene così. Okay. Ciao a tutti. Welcome.
Oh,
Ciao. This week, I'm so excited in this episode to be sitting down with pasta grammar of YouTube, Instagram, social media, which is Eva and Harper. Eva and Harper, welcome. How are you doing today?
good, good. Thank you for having us.
The pleasure is all mine. So where are we speaking with you from? You're not in the States right now, right?
We're not, no. Ava, where are we?
We are in Italy. We are in my hometown in Calabria, and we are speaking from Italy right now.
Bravo. That's wonderful. And what is the hometown in Calabria where you're from?
It's a small village, and the name is Dasa.
I don't know it, but
No, don't
It's
worry.
very small.
It's small.
I'm going to look it up. So I just want to get started right into it. I want to learn a little bit more about you, and also I think a lot of the listeners too. They want to learn a little bit about the two of you, Eva and Harper. Let's start at the genesis. How did the two of you meet?
Well, I guess the story begins when my parents, as they were nearing retirement and falling more and more in love with the idea of going to Italy and traveling there, they started to visit, and that's when they visited a place called Orvieto, where Ava was at the time. Maybe you should pick up the story from there.
You in Umbria? You in Umbria?
Yes. I lived there for 10 years where I had my own school for Italian language for foreigner students. So one morning, his parents show up to my school. So we became friends. I was their teacher. Then we became friends. And then they invited me to USA. I went and
I was home for, it was around Thanksgiving at the time. And so Ava came to visit. And I impressed her enormously by drinking a protein shake for dinner when everyone else was eating lobster. Really got off to a good start with this Italian. But we continued to see each other, and then ended up traveling back and forth between Italy and the US to visit each other, and finally got married.
How long ago was that you got married, Eva and Harper?
1 year and 4 months.
Yeah.
1 year and 4 months ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, complimenti. Congratulations.
Grazie.
Grazie mille.
And you know, this is interesting. And on your side, Harper, are you from New England originally?
I moved around a lot as a kid, but settled down in Maine when I was quite young. So I essentially grew up there, and yeah, I feel like a New Englander at heart.
Well, that's cool. And would that explain the lobster portion of the dinner then?
Yes, yeah. It's what you serve people when they first come and visit you in Maine. We don't eat it any other time of the year, but when guests come to visit, we eat lobster.
Okay, now earmuffs, Harper. Eva, how was the lobster?
Okay, he didn't cook the lobster. His father cooked the lobster, and they were amazing.
Okay.
They were amazing. So I couldn't understand in that moment why he was drinking a protein shake. For me, it was, come on, you have this wonderful lobster and you drink a protein shake. You're crazy.
What did you want him to drink? Verdicchio or Trebbiano or something?
With a lobster, for example, a verdicchio or a passerina could be perfect, but not a protein shake.
Okay. Harper, have you had the opportunity? Are you kind of converting now? I know you're a huge pasta lover now, obviously, but do you drink a little bit of wine? Has she introduced you to some wines or?
Yes, yeah. We haven't had a chance since we've been here. It's hard with things in the world as they are, but we're hoping to do some more sort of like wine traveling and stuff. But she is very good at sniffing out good wines at our local grocery store back in the US. And so I've definitely been exposed to a lot of good stuff.
Well, I want to, kind of tell us a little bit about it. So you're really active on social media, and that's what's so inspirational. You have very lighthearted approachable, authentic. You can people feel as if they're right there in the kitchen with you. Kind of tell us a little bit about your channel and how that came to pass, if you could.
Sure, yeah. The channel started here in Calabria. It was shortly before we were married. I was here for the wedding, and a very heated argument was going on between my American family and Eva about putting meatballs on spaghetti. Uh, and I remember thinking at the time how Eva, who she was explaining the rules of pasta and how this goes with this and this doesn't go with this. And I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, she's like a language teacher, and to her, there's like a grammar to pasta. And that's sort of what sparked the idea. And furthermore, it was just all the stories and frankly conflict between the two of us that we would have like arguments about food and stuff, and I didn't get, well, why can't you do this? And what's wrong if I cook an entire box of pasta in the tiny little pot, you know? And then when you step back, it was sort of funny to me. So eventually I thought, well, we might as well film it.
So one of the things that's obvious as the two of you are communicating on video, Harper, do you sometimes purposely, it seems like you purposely kind of just like poke a little bit, just to get her riled up? Oh, Ava's like, certo, certo.
Certo.
I know which buttons to push.
But it looks like you have fun in the kitchen, and along the way you've probably learned a lot, right?
I've learned a lot, yes, but I'm still learning. It's one of those things where there are times when we've done this for over a year now, and obviously behind the scenes, I'm learning a lot because just in our day-to-day life, I eat pasta every day, and I feel like I've never had the same pasta twice because she cooks me something amazing every day. No, but big, big.
What?
Yeah. Seriously, like today, for instance, I had like two full servings of tagliatelle pasta. Yeah, it was a lot. Anyway, so I eat a lot of pasta, and I feel like I've learned so much. There are times when I think like I must have had every Italian dish at this point, and then she always just pulls out some big surprise. So I'm always learning. I'm always learning.
So one of the things that this makes me think about, the learning and what makes it difficult with Italy, very regionally focused, but besides regional, I mean, every single town you travel to, a recipe variation from, let's say, La Morra to Monforte, the agnolotte, the difference between the agnolotte or the plin might be this much. So how do you, Eva, where did you learn all of this? Because you weren't just like teaching English and saying, oh, well, I'm going to become a pasta girl, not a granny, pasta girl.
Okay, I was lucky because I grew up in a family where every day we had to cook, or my mom and my dad, they cooked for us. So for me, it's normal cooking what for us is a basic pasta dish. So it's not so impressive for me. And then I had also a good aunt, a very good aunt, and she knows also now to cook everything. You can just ask and she can cook. So I just learned watching her and my parents. And then I love good food. That's why I try to cook what I eat.
And you've had the chance to live in different regions in Italy
yes,
too, so you've learned a lot.
I moved from Calabria to Rome and then to Umbria, and then I love to travel, so I travel also around Italy and try always to find the real traditional dish. And
okay, so that makes sense, because I was like, wait a minute, the Calabrese, like where is she learning how to make, let's say, this dish from Bergamo, or this one from Liguria, or Cinque Terre, or Piemontese, like, so it makes sense. You've had an opportunity to live all around. So obviously there's a huge passion for food. And do you think that came from your parents as well, you're saying?
We are a family of, let's say, chef or cooks. Maybe it's better cooks. For example,
Okay.
also my sister, she cooks a lot. My mom, she spent all the day just cooking. My dad does the same. So it's something that maybe we have in our blood.
Everyone has their
Okay.
own specialty, though.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what is your favorite? So I'm going to ask the two of you separately. So maybe you don't have a favorite, Harper, but what is your favorite pasta dish thus far?
Okay, that was very tricky up until quite recently. I always had a joke whenever, because Eva and her family, they often ask me like, "What's your favorite pasta?" It's always the one that Eva puts in front of me at that moment. I'm always like, "This is my favorite." But now I really, honestly have crowned an official favorite, and it's pasta with induja.
Okay. All right. I just saw that.
Spicy,
Yeah.
yeah, the spicy Calabrian soft sausage. That's my favorite.
So, and recently you've learned, I saw a video with your father, Eva, teaching you how to make the nduja. So are you going to go home now when you go back to the States and start cranking out nduja?
We need to, because I need
Literally.
some. I need some.
With the small machine, ground meat, yes.
Yeah. So I noticed, side note, this is completely unrelated, well, related, but you have a KitchenAid in your kitchen, yeah? KitchenAid mixer. One thing I've noticed, every time I try to grind the meat, I don't like the KitchenAid attachment because it's plastic and it gets stuck in it, and it's better to use metal and get it nice and cold. Yeah, so it
Perfect.
slips through. Yeah.
We've only used it once for grinding meat.
And then threw it in the
was,
garbage. Threw it in the garbage.
It was horrible.
It
It was
is.
horrible because all the fat was inside the plastic and it was very hard to make the
Oh.
sausage. No, you are right.
Yeah. So there's a separate company that makes for the KitchenAid. They make a metal attachment. I'll email it. I'll email it to you, Harper. It's really, really good.
oh, cool.
Oh,
They'll send it to you because they'd love to see you use it, obviously. So how
good.
did you how did you become so great at teaching, Eva? Was it as a result of you teaching before, just in a different form, or?
okay, also here I should say that my family also, we are all cooks, but also all teachers. So it's something that also there, it's in our blood. My father was a teacher, my mother was a teacher, my aunt was a teacher, my uncle was a teacher. So when you can become in a family like that, cook and teach, no choice.
Okay, so it's cooking and teaching. I like it. And finally, what is your favorite? I didn't get your answer. What is your favorite pasta?
Pasta
Do you have a
dish?
favorite?
Yes, I have a favorite pasta dish, and it is pasta with chickpeas, but my mama style.
Okay, Mama style. What's Mama's style?
Okay, she cooks for me I don't know, for sure you know, the candele. It's
See,
this big tube. Okay, she breaks the candele. Then she cooks the dried chickpeas, not in a can, because she cooks before. Then she had some tomato sauce. And then she prepared this pasta with spicy pepper because I love spicy food. And it's unbelievable good.
That sounds good. I've never had it.
It's unbelievable.
Really?
The
What?
chickpeas goes inside the candela. It's
So-
perfect.
Ava's favorite pasta dish, it's got a big place in the back of our minds, and we're saving it for video. I've never had it. I've never had it.
No me recordo. I don't remember. Ceci.
Ceci,
Yeah, I forgot.
bravo.
Yeah,
Ceci,
I forgot.
pasta e ceci.
See. So for you, when you have a pasta, one of the things when you're in America, now there's a distinct difference in the cuisine. So we're crossing here. Italian American is its own separate cuisine, nothing to do with Italian cuisine. Is there a particular Italian American dish you're absolutely in love with?
Okay.
Okay.
I tried several of them and I'm sincere. Some of them I couldn't eat.
Okay.
But I found one that I really love, and it
Okay.
is the toppino.
A seafood
Ciappino,
cioppino.
it's
Yeah,
amazing.
this is good
I,
because, yeah, I'm with you.
Ciappino reminds me, for example, the caciucco from Tuscany, from Livorno. This soup with fish, clams, mussel, shrimps. It's amazing. That is very, very good.
Okay, now let's switch to the American. So Harper, now you've been exposed to some great food, and as your relationship blossoms and you get to have more and more authentic Italian, are there some Italian American dishes you just can't let go of?
Uh, Boy.
Besides the cioppino, of course. The San Francisco cioppino originated in San Francisco.
Yeah, so I grew up in actually a largely on my father's side through marriage. I'm obviously, I don't look Italian at all because I'm not. But through marriage, I grew up associated with a very large Italian family, and I gotta say that one of my aunts on that side made a baked ziti dish that I'm pretty sure doesn't at all resemble real Italian pasta al forno, but it was pretty good. I can still remember that one.
So you still dream about that. So
Yeah.
have the two of you created anything? Do you have a lot of fun in the kitchen? Besides, like when you're not on video, do the two of you cook together? How does that help your relationship?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun in the kitchen, and it's been fun because coming to the US, Eva is suddenly exposed to a ton of ingredients, particularly vegetables, fresh produce and stuff that isn't available in Italy. And it's really fun for me because I get to see her explore and learn how to cook with them. Like squash, for instance, in southern Italy, you can't find it
Right.
essentially. And when she came to Maine and New England, where we have tons of squash, it was like there was maybe a month where every day she made a squash dish, and it started out okay, and then every day it would get a little bit better and a little bit better, and by the end it was just like she's like a squash master, and then she moves on to the next thing. But I have fun helping her with that because sometimes it's an ingredient that I just know a little bit more about because I've had more exposure to it,
Right.
But it is a lot of fun.
So that I could
It's a
see
good.
where that would be fun. Is there something that go ahead, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say that he's a good sous chef for me. So
Well, at
he
least there you
knows how
have
to do
it.
his job.
Sometimes.
Harper, there you have it. You know you're a good sous chef. Now you know the sous chef does the majority of any work in any kitchen. So you're the workhorse.
Yeah, I used to do more sous chef stuff actually in the videos. I would do a lot more sort of like prep stuff behind the scenes and helping her out. I've actually been downgraded a little bit ever since the hard-boiled egg disaster. We made a big epic lasagna video, and one of the elements that's supposed to go in the lasagna are chopped hard-boiled eggs. And my only job that day, it was a 10-hour cooking day, my only job was to boil the last 4 eggs we had in the fridge, and I messed that up. So ever since then, she doesn't let me do a lot of the cooking.
What what advice would you offer to others? As people come on, how do you want people to engage with you, and what are you seeking to accomplish? I recognize in the beginning it was more, it was fun for you, but what are you looking to give to other people?
We have gotten so many, I mean, maybe I should back up. When
Okay.
we started this channel, we honestly thought that the sort of market for authentic Italian food, particularly on YouTube, we just sort of assumed it was very saturated and that there were lots of other people doing that. And so that's why we sort of started out doing more sort of like comedy stuff and just sort of things that weren't like, we weren't even releasing recipes at the beginning, and more people were asking for that. So that's when we started doing it, and we started our recipe blog. And the amount of people that we get pictures from, people who say that they cooked our lasagna, or they cooked even a timpano, which is crazy. Why would anyone cook that? It's the hardest thing ever, but they do it. And it's so amazing. Children, we get pictures of children eating our food just from all over the world. And it's the greatest feeling. It's something we never expected out of this. And it's absolutely the best part of what we do. That's really the best sort of like interaction we get from people, just having people try our food.
That's really, really special. The fact that you get to be a part of people's homes. It's an intimate thing. I would be so, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So,
really amazing. And we have people who, we have lots of, you know, Italian Americans who want to reconnect with their Italian roots, and they write us, and they're from a specific town or a specific region. Eva, do you know any dishes from this place? And she does, and we'll just send them a recipe, and they'll try something, and it's really great.
see, but that's just a testament to how relatable, obviously, the two of you are on camera. So, which leads me to believe, who does all this editing?
I do.
I know I was
Yeah.
reading it. You went to school for film, right?
Yeah, so up until shortly after Ava and I got married, I was a cinematographer living in Los Angeles.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
you've been around and you really understand what you need to do then.
Yeah, it was it's kind of funny because when I was a kid in Maine, I started getting into filmmaking when the first like flip phone that could take video came out. And so I was just filming in my backyard in Maine just with a cell phone. And then I went to school, and I did like big professional commercials, music videos, stuff like that in Hollywood. And now I'm back to, because we shoot everything on my cell phone, I'm back to shooting like silly little videos on my phone in Maine. So it's come full circle, but it's super fun. I feel like a kid again, you know, I'm doing just like what I like to do.
What kind of phone are you using for those out there that actually create content? What kind of phone do you use to do that?
Yeah, so I use the 12 Pro Max. It's the newest one. We started the channel. This is now Ava's phone, but the 11 Pro Max. And I have to be honest, I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a tech guy at all. Obviously, I shoot my whole channel on my phone. I'm not a tech guy. But this is really what allowed us to do this. It's a really good value. You can't really get a camera, like a DSLR camera, for what a phone costs, that has
Right.
3 lenses, and you can do selfie mode, which is how we shoot all of our stuff in the kitchen, because I have to see what we're shooting because I'm holding it. Slow motion, which I do a lot for food photography. So it's a useful tool, I gotta say.
Yeah. There was a director that just did a whole entire movie on a phone.
Yeah, there have been several. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely doable. Yeah.
And I'm amazed, like a phone. And then how do you know which phone to pick? I mean, you're talking about an iPhone, and I
Mhm.
think there's so much conflicting information out there. They say, okay, this iPhone is 13 or 15 megapixel. But then, like, Eva, when I'm back in Italy, I can get a Oppo or a Huawei phone that's 128 megapixel. But does that really mean anything? The megapixels, or I don't know.
Yeah, not so much. Megapixels, there's just so much more that goes into the quality of a camera. But there's so many great phones out there, and it's you don't need something really fancy. It's like, if people can see you and they can see what you're doing, it matters so much more what you're doing in front of the camera than what the camera is. That's why it's
Right.
like, so many people, YouTubers especially, they get so caught up in the gear. And we just started with a phone. It was all you
Right.
need. At that time, we didn't have a microphone, we didn't have a light, nothing, just a phone in our kitchen, you know.
So what are your plans for the future? Do you have any exciting news coming up? Any cool new announcements you'd like to talk about? Maybe.
We're working on some stuff. The one that is not going to be really surprising for anyone is a cookbook. We're trying to get that published. So that's sort of the big focus at the moment. That's partly why I'm eating so much pasta. We have a lot of recipes we have to test. So that's the big one, and we're hoping that once things are once we're able to, the world changes a little bit, maybe that we can do more sort of events and stuff, and maybe some travel stuff in Italy. We'll see. Fingers crossed, but we're working on it.
You know, it's really difficult time right now. Obviously, COVID. You know, me too. I can't do any of my events all around the world. So yeah, that is difficult. But you know, things will turn around, and you know, everything happens for a reason. There's always a new door that opens. Always another opportunity. What would you like to? Is there anything else you'd like to share with people that are listening in?
You think of anything?
Come on, Eva.
I'm a little bit nervous. I should say this.
There's
It's
nothing
like
to be nervous about. You're amongst friends.
I don't know what we can share.
I'm looking forward to the Nduja. I'm looking forward to seeing some Nduja pasta as well. Some different, maybe variations, whatever. Is there any, besides pasta, because I know obviously your book will be about pasta, but have you had the opportunity to eat some other dishes that use the Nduja as well?
Yes, my personal favorite being just Nduja with a spoon. It's like, that's often what it turns out to be. But yeah, we had
The
pizza with Nduja. That's excellent. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good
Yeah.
And there is a thing that, sorry, there is a thing that I would love him try one day, and it's the fried egg with Nduja. That is unbelievable good.
It's funny because today I recorded another podcast. Coincidentally, I mean, what are the chances? It's very difficult to find calabrese. You don't usually find as many businesses and people from Calabria. It's often overlooked in the American market, you know. But today I filmed another podcast with another Calabrese, a lady, Skylar Mapes. She has an olive oil. Her and her husband, X-Ow is the name of it. You should look into it. They're Calabrese on the ocean, right at the ball. What's the name of the little town at the very ball of Calabria? The very, you know,
At the bottom of Calabria. Like Reggio Calabria, Scilla,
no.
Gioia.
I don't remember right now. But it was interesting having a conversation as well with her and her husband. So at any rate, I really want to thank you so much for sharing. How can we connect with you, stay connected with you, and how do we understand and find out when this book is going to be released?
Definitely the best way is to subscribe to our newsletter, which you can, if you go to our website, pastagrammar.com. That's the best way to stay up to date with any sort of pasta grammar updates. And then, of course, you can always keep up with the YouTube channel and subscribe, and that's where we post our weekly videos.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward. You have a new subscriber in me, and I can't wait to see what's going on. And I want to try some of your recipes when the book comes out.
Let us know if you do.
Thank you so much for your time today. Alla prossima.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Ciao, no.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.